I'm the Executive Director of the Central American Resource Center, and I'm a proud Nicaraguan San Franciscan. Thank you everyone for coming out in support of the Central American children detained at the U.S.-Mexico border. Today we honor San Francisco's long-standing history of humanitarianism in Sanctuary City. Our children are sacred. We thank Supervisor Campos, Avalos, Kim, Mar, and Yi for the introduction and sponsoring of this important resolution in favor of innocent minors who are simply seeking safety and reunification with their families in the USA. We ask that today all the members of the Board of Supervisors vote unanimously for this resolution. We, the community, are committed to the long-term journey of assisting these children in their recovery from a treacherous journey, impacted by detention in crowded facilities along the U.S.-Mexico border. We will see that their safety, we will work towards their social integration and long-term health. The Central American community and our allies are united and believe that our children, all children, are sacred. They deserve protection and family reunification, not deportation. You can see today we have representatives from all of the Central American community. We have representatives from the faith community. We have youth. Raise your hands if you're a youth. We have service providers in San Francisco, and we have long-term allies who supported and understood the struggles of our peoples in Central America for the past 3 decades and before. Actually, our history goes back to the founding of the city during the gold rush, when people were seeking alternate routes to make it west, and they were desperate to build a canal, which is how the Panama Canal was built. And since then, the U.S. has intervened in our countries and has implemented poor domestic and foreign policies that have affected our people and further relegated us to poverty. This is why we have migration. This is why we have forced migration. Parents do not risk their children unless they have dreams and better hopes for them. Next, I'd like to invite and welcome the author of the resolution and our only Central American elected official, El Chapín y buen guatemalteco, Supervisor of District 9, La Misión, David Campos.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, Larissa. Thank you, Larissa. I want to say that I'm very touched by the fact that so many of you are here today. And I'm especially touched to see so many of the families with the kids that are here on the steps of this City Hall, because the kids that we're talking about are kids just like the ones you see here, who are here with their parents. Quisiera agradecerles a todos ustedes por estar aquí. La verdad que me ha emocionado mucho ver esta presencia de esta comunidad tan grande, especialmente ver a las familias con los niños, porque creo que es esos niños de los que estamos hablando. Los niños que miramos en estas gradas del ayuntamiento son la clase de niños que están sufriendo esta tragedia. You know, for me it's a very personal issue, because I myself came to this country as an undocumented child. I crossed the border. I went from Guatemala through Mexico to the United States. And it was a very horrible experience, very scary experience. But I was lucky that I was coming with a parent to go through that ordeal. And I can only imagine how challenging it must be for a child much younger than I was, 14, for a child who is 6, 7, 8, 9, by himself, by herself, going through that route of going through Central America, Mexico, and then crossing that border. What they're exposed to on a daily basis. Para mí esto es algo personal, porque yo vine aquí como un niño indocumentado y fue una experiencia muy difícil para mí, muy peligrosa, una experiencia que ha tenido un efecto en cómo yo miro la vida. Pero yo tuve suerte que esa experiencia tan difícil que fue, por lo menos yo tenía a un padre conmigo en esta experiencia. Y estamos hablando de niños de 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 años que están yendo por esa experiencia solos. Nos podemos imaginar el peligro al que se pone. So for me, this resolution is about doing two things. One, sending a very clear message that the city and county of San Francisco is on record saying what is happening, the way that our country is dealing with this tragedy is shameful. It is simply shameful. The United States of America is better than this.
We are.
If the conditions that we see and how these kids are being treated, where they're being housed, if these conditions were happening anywhere else in the world, we as a country would be denouncing those nations and saying that is wrong. And the fact that it is happening in 2014 in the wealthiest country in the world, it is simply sad. We are better than that. So San Francisco needs to be on record saying, shame on us, we must do better for these kids. And the second thing that this does is that it's not enough for us as a city to denounce what's happening. We have to commit ourselves to being a part of the solution. The city of St. Francis cannot look the other way and let this justice stand. That's why this resolution makes it clear that we are committing not only in word but in resources to be a part of the solution. Esta resolución hace dos cosas muy importantes. Primeramente, pone en pie, en récord, la ciudad de San Francisco diciendo que lo que está pasando en la frontera es una vergüenza para este país. Si las condiciones que estamos viendo estuvieran ocurriendo en otra parte del mundo, este país estuviera denunciando a esa parte del mundo y diciendo esto es una injusticia. El hecho que está pasando en nuestro país, el país más rico del mundo, simplemente es una vergüenza. Y como americanos tenemos que decirle a nuestro propio gobierno, no es justo y tenemos que cambiar la situación. Segundamente, esta resolución, aparte de denunciar lo que está pasando, también nos compromete como ciudad, no solamente de hablar, pero de hacer algo. Nos compromete a que podamos usar los recursos de esta ciudad de San Francisco para poder ser parte de esta solución. So I ask my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, and you're going to hear from some of them here, to pass this resolution unanimously today at the Board of Supervisors. Queremos un voto unánime, and we want to work with the mayor and all the city agencies to make sure that San Francisco becomes the model for how a country should respond to the plight of these children. I want to thank so many of you that have been a part of this solution. I want to thank my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Avalos, Supervisor Mark, Supervisor Kim, Supervisor Yee, and you're going to hear from some of them. But next, I want to bring a man who has been fighting for social justice in San Francisco for as long as anyone can remember. He is truly someone who has been a hero, and who actually, not even being a part of the Latino community, has been a champion for the rights of the Latino community, and not being an immigrant himself has been a champion for the immigrant communities. Our hero, our friend, Tom Amiano.
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Unfortunately, I heard on the news they found the body of an 11-year-old boy a little across the border from Guatemala. 11 years old. Is that what we're all about? In his pocket, he only had his phone number of a brother in Chicago and his name. Dead. Why? Because our country is neglecting. Our country is shameful. We are supposed to embrace nobility. The Statue of Liberty says, welcome to our shores. But what do? We squander the lives of children. Yes, children, refugees. We say they're diseased. I'll tell you what the disease is. It's ignorance and prejudice and hate. What are they doing in Washington? What are they doing in Congress? What is Mr. Boner doing? Walking from golf course to golf course, while our children are dying. You know what it takes as a parent. If you know the only recourse is to set your kid on a journey, do you know what that means? We all know what that means. It means we're desperate. It means we don't want the daughters raped. We don't want the kids in gangs. We don't want them to die of drugs. We don't want them to be kidnapped and sent to here in San Francisco and get shot on the streets of Oakland or San Francisco. We don't want that. Yet we helped cause that. I'm a loyal Obama fan, but we need action. We need solutions. In San Francisco, we have a big homeless problem, don't we? So what do? We turn our backs on them and we put them in other parts of town. And guess what happens? The problem isn't solved. You're sending the kids back. Even sending back frustrates me. What is sending back to what? And you think that the problem's going to be over? No, they're going to come back. And they're going to come back again and hold our feet to the fire, because this is an issue of morality. This is an issue of conscience. What can we do? During World War II, we turned our back on the Jewish people. We said, well, you can't land your boat here. Go back to Germany. This is akin to that, except this is children. Children. Think about it. You know they're scared. You know they're resilient. You know they wouldn't do this if they didn't feel that their parents wanted them to do it. You know that they're doing it to escape danger. Yet at the same time, we're saying to them, you're not worth it. You're disposable. So for that 11-year-old boy, if we could just have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. You know, I am Italian-American, and we have a word, coraggio, courage. So I say that to all of you. Coraggio.
We need him in the White House. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite other supporters of this resolution. Supervisor Marr.
Thank you to Carecen and the united immigrant communities that are here today. San Francisco, as Supervisor Campos said, is a sanctuary city. No child is illegal. No human being should ever be illegal. And the outrage that is coming from many of our communities, the Asian American communities I'm proud to be with here today, that are in solidarity as well. I wanted to say that Pope Francis has said very eloquently that children should be protected and their human rights should be upheld. So I'm proud that San Francisco is taking a stand with people around the world to focus on this issue. Supervisor Campos also mentioned that our goal is to have a unanimous support from our board, but not only symbolically, but to commit resources so that we're supportive of the broad immigrant communities, to say that these children are refugees, and under the United Nations definition, they should be treated as such as well. Yeah. I'll just say, as a parent and a member of the immigrant rights movement as well, that we have to keep organizing so that we hold President Obama accountable, to make sure that we say very strongly, no more Bush-like immigration policies, stop the deportations, support and protect the children and stand up for them. And as the immigrant rights community stand up united here in San Francisco and throughout the country, let's keep moving and have San Francisco join them as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here.